Welcome, everybody, back here at Veil of Sound for our regular Sunday interview. And this time, I'm very, very happy not only to have a wonderful female artist with me, but also somebody who achieved something that is a rare feat. We get a lot of promo stuff, but I rarely saw a promo that featured quotes by Metal Hammer, Cult Nation, Electronic Sound, The Sleeping Shaman, and the DJ Mac. So we must have a genre binder here with us. So I'm very, very happy to have Klara from Fågelle with us today. So Klara, thanks for joining.
Thank you so much. That was a great intro.
Well, yeah, it's a great achievement. I mean, like five very, very different outlets for musical reviews and stuff like that. So there must be something in your music that appeals, and I can vouch for it. There is something in your music that appeals to a lot of different people. Klara, I've already mentioned it to you. We always start with a plug of the day, and I'll give you a moment to think while I do my plug. In a couple of days, we will have new music or a new album by Catherine Moore out on the Flenser. It might not be similar to Fågelle, but it's in a way as wonderfully independent from everything else that is out there. So I think Catherine Moore definitely needs more attention. Klara, who do you think needs more attention?
I mean, I don't know how much attention he's getting. It's the techno artist Joel Mull from Sweden that I just recently stumbled over. But it's been like the best sort of concentration work music that I've found in a long time. It's very, I think you can, when it comes to electronic music, you can very quickly tell if you share the same like sound, sort of sound world. And he has like such a great sound world. So like if everything that he does just sounds amazing, and it's very like sort of organic and beautiful. So really love it.
It's interesting that you directly go into this idea, and that is something that positively struck me when I was looking up your stuff, and when I also read my wonderful colleague George's review of your record on our website. He pushed a lot into that electronic direction and into the for example, also techno elements in your music. And when I listened to it, I had a totally different impression. I thought like, okay. To me, the first thing that I thought was like, okay, this is either a very, very isolated cabin somewhere in the Swedish woods, or it's the most intimate setting in a grand opera house.
That's beautiful. I mean, I think when people have asked me now about this album, like, what do you think people will hear? And I think it's going to be very, very different depending on who you are. Like, and I think that's really nice. Like, also if you don't have the language like component of it, if you don't get that layer, I think there's still a lot of things to explore, hopefully, and like you can hear the electronic parts, or you can hear the more organic parts, and like the sense of space. I hope
definitely that space is a big thing on your record.
It is, and I think great to hear that it translates in different ways. I think that's like, I think the music that I really love also has that, like it can be explored like over a long time.
Then I mean, like, to clarify that, how do your songs evolve? Where does it start? Does it start on the very often intimate piano parts, or on the very clear musical parts, or does it start with some kind of electronic soundscape?
I think the songs, they have like different starts. Like I definitely try to work on build, like writing strong like songs, like just with the guitar or the piano, and like making sure that they can like really stand on their own, because from my experience, then you can really pull them apart and like abuse them and really do whatever, and then it's fine if you're just singing and there's like a little noise.
Yeah.
And it's fine. It has this really solid structure, and it can handle a lot, and I love that, because when a song is not like, in my point of view, like if it's not strong enough, it can't handle to be abused like that, and I want to do that. So that's an important start. But then to start to actually produce it and like arrange and like be more in the computer and adding on layers and field recordings and all of that, that's definitely like, that's when it gets its shape in a different way. And sometimes the song also changes because of that. Something happens, something needs to happen. And on this record even, I've been toying with like, because I'm playing live mostly solo, and there are ways that I work that have developed there, and certain energies like that are different, and I wanted to get that onto the records a little bit. And it happened more on this one because I played for the first time with a drummer, Liam Amner, who's a great drummer, and the way we played this like song before it was released actually changed how the song turned out, because it was like, we need to get it to end this way, because like I lost myself from the question now, but
no, that's totally fine. You've answered that. Something that then strikes me and that I have to ask is, when do the lyrics come into play? Early on or later on?
Super early. Like, it's definitely writing the lyrics, and the lyrics and the music, they come together at a very early stage. And then sometimes you have to like, there might be a missing piece, or there might be something that's like, I want to rewrite, but the like, because I think the lyrics are really, they're really important, like to the to the like soul of the song.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, you sing in Swedish. Was there ever a decision that you made, or did it happen naturally?
I think I'm a really boring singer in English. Like, I noticed that, and I'm like, what? Why?
But you do know that singing does not depend on vocals, on words. Because you say, you say you're a boring singer. If you were a boring singer,
you should hear me in English. Super boring. No,
it's just make an English version of a record, and then I'll be the judge.
It's something. I don't find my strength in when I sing in English. I think like, because it's very. I also think that is why it works for me to sing in Swedish and perform outside, and like because it is not just words. It is connected to something that, and I think that translates, even though the lyrics and the meaning of that doesn't translate, but what it brings in me translate. And I think so. I don't know. It would be cool to sing in English, but I would have to. Something would have to happen. I don't. Maybe living in a English-speaking country or something, like to just be, to really become a person in English. I mean, I've lived a life speaking a lot of English in like Berlin, but it's not the same. I don't know.
That is something that I hear so often from expats who live in Berlin. I've spoken so much English in Berlin. You do know that it's a German-speaking country, yeah, but it's much easier in English. There is something German, in what you said. Yeah, but wir machen das Interview nicht auf Deutsch.
Nee.
But Klara, there is something that I also felt about the lyrics. I mean, like, I don't understand Swedish, but when I listened to the lyrics and to the vocal performance, and then listened to the musical performance, I had a feeling as if the vocals and the vocal performance are, for lack of a better word, your home in the song.
That's very beautiful. Yeah, for sure.
But then sometimes the music counteracts the vocal performance. It contrasts it. Is that then an intruder, or is that something that you voluntarily let into your own world?
I mean, I feel like the vocals are like the light, like it's like you're holding a candle and you're
Yeah.
walking through the forest or through just like a building that's falling apart. So it's kind of what's guiding you through the songs. And I think it's completely a safe space. I mean, whatever happens around it, it's in control. But even vulnerability, because when you write and you produce music, you are in control somehow. So you're in control of your own vulnerability somehow, and that is what makes like sort of the vulnerability very powerful as well, because it's like a chosen vulnerability. Like I choose how to show you these parts of myself. So I think it's that interesting line between sort of fragility and just total powerfulness.
And strength also, right?
Yeah, strength. And I think that I think that space is very important to me and has always been. Like that's it's beautiful to be able to be that together with other people, and I think music is such a powerful like tool for that.
And whenever I prepare interviews, there is usually something that is very normal and very, very regular. You ask about songwriting processes and soundscapes. But when I listened to your record, I had to completely throw that away. And so I thought, okay, how could I do this? So I thought, okay, there are 4 major points that I would like to talk about. One we have already mentioned, the vocals. And I would like to connect all 4 corners for me with a female artist. So when it comes to vocals and vocal performance, the first thing or the first female performer that came to my mind was Zola Jesus. Is she an influence on your work?
I opened for her a couple of shows last fall, and that was like so cool, and it was so nice. She was doing her like solo, just like grand piano, and her sound tech doing some electronics and just vocals, and it was so cool really hearing her very powerful like vocals. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's been an influence for like a long time, but I like totally respect her. Like also really as an artist, like the whole how she is like going about like her career or like the path she's carving for herself. Like that's a huge inspiration. Yeah.
And there is also this way, when we listen to her music, there is a lot of very, very intimate moments. And there is also, again, that electronic side. As you said, you've already known her before the tour. Is that one of those packages where you say, okay, this just simply works? In the sense that everybody who listens to Zola Jesus will probably find a way into your music.
I don't know. I just told my booker like that would be like a dream to open for her. Like that would be so cool, and I think it makes sense. So and I guess she also thought it made sense, and I think it made sense. The shows like it worked together, and you always wanna, because I've opened quite a lot, and I like it's a really good way to get out and meet a new audience and stuff. And I think it's only nice if it sort of adds to the experience. You don't want to be like sort of taking away from the main artist in any way. You just want to sort of pave the way, and you want it to make sense for the audience. I mean, yeah.
Does it also make sense for you yourself to maybe find new inspiration, new
Absolutely.
ideas?
And I think it was so fun also because she was also on her solo, like just with the grand piano. I really felt like, I mean, sometimes as a female vocalist, and you're also doing other things, you're also producing and stuff, you sometimes want to tone down the fact that you're singing because it feels like a very sort of classic female sort of instrument to use, and you sometimes you want to like focus more on the other things you're doing. But when we were doing these shows, I felt like, okay, we're really going out there and we're really strong vocalists. Like that's a huge part of what she's doing, and it's also a huge part of what I'm doing. And I felt like, yeah, I shouldn't hide that. That's like, why am I doing that? That's also some sort of idea that's not worth as much as being like an electronic musician or something like that. So that made me think about that a bit differently. And I mean, such a great thing to just hear people sing in interesting and personal ways. I mean, yeah, I've loved that. I don't want to ever. I don't ever want to like. I really learned something from that experience. Like I love just singing.
The second artist that I want to give you, and that you surely know, and that to me is connected with space, is Anna van Hauswolf.
Yeah.
When listening to Anna, it very automatically becomes clear she's working with these huge organs, and they just need space.
Yeah.
But when listening to your records, I mean, like you're not using an organ, you're using the keys, for example. But again, space is a very, very key element. How do you use space when you are recording?
Also, Anna is a friend of mine, and I love her. I love her music. Also love her. Like,
if you can say the next thing about the next two artists, then I would like please to be connected to an interview with either one of them. Let's stick with Anna first.
Yeah, no, I mean, also huge inspiration in many ways, like musically and like artistically, and like the way she's. I also know her dad. He's an more like visual artist, or also sound like an artist. A very, very, very cool person, and has done crazy things all his life. Also big inspiration. And but talking about space, like, yeah, I mean, I guess that's a little bit of the sound artist background in me, that like I feel like as a sound artist, you are very aware that everything has a context, and like that, and like that sound exists in a context of space and of other things. And when I sample, I wanna, I don't want to clean things up. I want them to have their like history in there, and like I want the sort of sense, even if I'm working with electronics and with quite like sterile things. I also want to try to build these spaces, and to really, you always almost like you don't want the silences to be all quiet. You almost want it to be like a sense of like some presence in the background. Just like even when it's quiet, it's very the silences are kind of alive, and they are like breathing in the background. I think that's just a thing I'm looking for all the time. So space, I mean, especially on this record, like where I wanted to bring in these like the home region of mine. I wanted to see like how can the ambience of these places sort of creep into the themes of these songs. Like maybe they will not be center stage, but they will be there as a context to what's happening.
And I also thought about space because there is this very, very interesting story about how you did some of the field recordings back in your home region of Holland. Is it true that you went outside and gave some of your stuff to the boys with the worst car stereos and then recorded it?
Yeah. So it was interesting. It was like very before I really started doing something. I was in this like podcast, and we were talking about these ideas of the Swedish countryside, and he just asked me like, what does the Swedish countryside sound like? And I'm like, oh, it's just this quiet night, and you hear from far away like this car, like it's like bouncing from the sound of the stereo. This like the whole metal is just shaking, and then you hear it come closer and closer, and it drives past and it's super loud, and then it just like goes out into the night, and it's just a beautiful, like I think like that's really personifies like what my idea of the Swedish countryside. And so I wanted to kind of grab that sample somehow. So I found this guy who made this who is from my home like town, the next door town where I went to high school, and he made this remix of one of the songs that we then I had to go out and find this guy that drives this specific type of car, and like make him play it in his stereo and drive going past my stereo mic setup, and then it became the outro of this song. But
Swedish
I will also
country
release
music.
What?
A Swedish version of country music.
Yeah, somehow, yeah, it's like very, very, very intense and like very, I don't know, it's just like such an extreme expression. But I mean, some of these like songs definitely are just very like sort of funny and like very over the top and very like explicit and all of that. And then you can always hear once in a while that somebody's playing something that's quite melancholic. Like it has all that intensity, but it has like a sort of a vein of melancholy, which I find that combination so beautiful. Like that's like it's really close to my heart. Like that, just like young, ecstatic sadness somehow. Like it's so weird, and I kind of wanted to capture that. So we will release the remix as a whole. It's a very funny track, and also very beautiful in its own way. And I mean, I've tested this on a few of these car people. Like they've got to play it, and they all love it. So I think that's a good sign that it's like it actually works.
Yeah, and then we also indirectly come back to the idea of, listening to your music makes you question the whole existence of any kind of genre description. Like very, very clear. It's unboxable.
I mean, I think also like it's about it's about sort of low status and high status as well. Like because it's kind of music that has a very low like cred. Like it's
not really high up on the echelons of classical music listeners. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And it's also youth culture, and that's usually also like just in itself. It just so I think it's cool to like be like, oh, but it has something, and because I really think it does. I know, yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned youth culture. That was to me the way that I noticed my little stuff around here, my notes. There was one center point that I wanted to also come back to when I listened to the record. I have a feeling as if we are listening to somebody who is also in some ways breaking away from her own youth, like transitioning from the very, very early years of musical entrepreneurship, and now, okay, this is like my life.
Yeah, I mean, coming back to my home region and like saying, oh, I wanna see what's going on here. I don't want to go back to where I came from, like I don't want to be 14 again, but I want to be here and see like I want to be here and see what's going on. And and see how I can be here as a grown person and like an artist that can also choose my own path much more freely. Yeah. So absolutely.
And then I have two more female, and I don't know how I came to the next one, but in the end I found out why your music reminded me of her. Your songs are telling stories. In a way, I don't understand them, but I know they are. The way that you sing makes it 100% clear to me. This is not just a word on word on word on word enumeration. And there is something very Tori Amos in your music.
I have not listened to her a lot at all. Like, but I know she's very loved by her fans. Like, she has a very loyal fan base. But I don't know. So please tell me about her.
No, what I wanted to ask is like the songs that you write, the stories that you write. I mean, like, of course, they're not all personal stories, but how much do you reveal in your songs about also yourself?
I think it's the most. I mean, I think for me, songwriting, if it's not 100% true, it's like it's not worth. I mean, it has to be 100% true. Otherwise, like I can feel it like in myself. Like, what's the point? What's the point of like trying to put on a facade here? Like that's where the only thing that matters is to be 100% authentic and show. Because I don't know. It just like feels so worthless when I have this. Like, this is my space to actually show the world, like show, like tell somebody who's listening exactly who I am. You know, very in a very raw way. That feels like that's when it. Because I guess it is a little bit religious to do art. Like it's like it's the point of my life, I think. And I'm not saying that it's like,
it's not the religion and you're the priest, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like it's for me. It only has a value if I'm absolutely 100% honest. So yeah. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, that's when it becomes a religion. Like, otherwise, I'm kind of I'm trying to sell something, or I don't know, like.
You don't have a camera around here because the words that you are using are exactly the ones that I wrote down, and that one is honesty. That is definitely very, very often audible in your music. At the same time, before we come to the last female artist that I would like to talk about, fortunately, your PR gave us some kind of translation of your songs. Not songs, but titles. And there is also a tiny kind of tongue-in-cheek in there. I'm not going to pronounce it in Swedish, although Satans jävla fan, Satan's damned fools. I mean, like, there is some tongue-in-cheek in there.
It's really hard to translate curse words.
Yeah, of course.
I think especially, like, I think in Swedish cursing, for some reason, there's always a lot of cursing in my titles. Swedish cursing is very good. You can really stack them. You can like just do a really long stack of curse words, and it really works. So that it's basically in Swedish, it's more like just a stack of curse words. Yeah, it's fun.
And you also like to play with homophones. We already, in our little pre-chat, you've already told us that, or told me that Fågelle is like your own made-up word of like little female bird. But I'm not sure. But when I read the title of a first track, Rhythmic, is that correct? In Swedish?
Riv mig.
But okay, so there's no G at the end, because when I read it, I was like, okay, is she really trying to make a fool out of me by putting rhythmic, the English word, apart?
Oh no, it's a soft G.
Okay. But I mean, like as you said it, the lyrics and what you sing not only needs to be honest and true and sometimes also deep, but in a way also it must be funny in a way. It must make fun for you to do that.
I wouldn't say that lyrics are funny.
But
no,
is there something about them that you need to enjoy?
I mean, it feels really meaningful to write. It helps me in a lot of ways, and it put things in like order somehow. So that's very like it's a very strong experience of writing. Like it's very important to me. But I mean, I love playing with like double, the double meaning of words, and I think it's nice in music, of course, and also in poetry and like this more experimental text that the ambiguity of like text and the way it can, it lands in somebody, the person who reads it, not as just like, oh, this means that, but like that it can sort of evolve the more you think about it, that there's like, and
more
that you
levels?
also sort of, yeah, exactly. And how you can also paint the sort of world in the lyrics, trying to, trying to build a language in the language as well. I mean, all of this is hard to explain because you haven't read the lyrics really, but that's something I enjoy also in other lyricists and like poets and authors. When they really, I think every author has a like an imprint that like personal, the way they're using the language, that's personal, and I think I like strive for that as well.
And the last woman that I'm very sure you've already heard quite often as a comparison is Björk.
Yes. We have a saying, me and my producer, the producer I've worked with before, like Henrik, that we want to be better than Björk. Bättre än Björk, Beb.
Okay. But let's put it like that. You're on a good trajectory. You're on a good trajectory.
I've been actually on a huge like Björk, like I listened to her a lot when I was maybe 14, 15. And then I think I had quite a long break, but now I like gone back and really listened to like all of her like earlier records, and
also the jazz stuff that she did with her dad.
Oh no, I have not. Like I haven't gone super deep yet. I think, but I feel like I have a new like Björk renaissance. Like I really, I guess, because her stuff is very layered and deep, and I think it's definitely something there's things I couldn't appreciate as a 14-year-old that I really can appreciate now, and I think it's like I'm gonna appreciate it in different ways throughout my life, I think. And it's like you can say things about there's always things to say about these big artists and people have their opinions, but it's like, oh, but she's such an inventive artist, like and she's just it's very like, not all of it is amazing, but it's like she's always searched for things, and I think she's also very vulnerable and honest in her music, and then such an amazing.
Would you then say that maybe not musically, but in a artist kind of sense, that she's like a role model?
Yes, I think she should be for everybody. I think like very radical in many ways, but also like I mean the fact that she became so big is also not like it's not by chance. Like I think she had I mean she has something that can relate out to the masses, but also I guess she wanted to do things on a very big scale. And I think I mean it's really cool. I mean I also like she's the top of the iceberg that is all the music, you know, that I also love, and she gets to represent that to the world, like to the mainstream world. And but I think she does a good job.
Good that you like her, because she will be the passage into the ending part of the interview, the infamous quickfire round at the end. You will get two alternatives, and we start with Björk. If you would listen to one of the following two records right now, which of the two would you choose? Debut or Homogenic?
Debut.
Can you say why?
I mean, it's a great album. And I think I have like some of my favorite songs are on there, but I mean, both great albums. But yeah.
Then your tour partner, Zola Jesus. Again, which of the two following records would you rather listen to? Okovi or Archon?
I don't know her that well, I would say.
Okay.
But sorry.
No problem.
Sorry, Zola.
No problem. So, and I also wanted to give you two by Tori Amos, but you already said like, I don't know her that well. So I thought of two Swedish artists that had been, let's say, successful in the last 4 or 5 decades. I'll give you ABBA versus Avicii.
Oh, in general?
Yeah. Which artist would you rather listen to?
Oh, ABBA all the way. I mean, I think it's ABBA.
Okay. And the last one, and I didn't want to end with her, but as you said that you are close friends, Anna van Houswolf. Of course, everybody would, after last year's Iconoclast, choose that one over, I think, everything that she did, because that is a once-in-a-lifetime record. But that would be too easy, so I'll give you Little Match Girl versus Dead Magic.
I would say Dead Magic, but it's also like, yeah, that's a tricky one. I would say Dead Magic.
Okay. So, Klara, thanks for all the insights into the way that you make music, write music, and also into the detailed answers on those four ladies. For everybody, when you are watching this as early as possible, then Bränn min jord, Klara's new record, has been out for 9 days, February 27th. Klara can also, if she switches the camera a little bit, show her the record in boxes.
Here they are.
Yeah, there they are. So, Klara, thanks for your time, and thanks for the wonderful music.
Thank you. Thank you for a really nice interview.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.